Hey everybody, movie reviewer next door here, and I'm back again with another review. And this time, I saw Ballistic Ecks Sever. This is an action thriller film directed by Chaos Sayananda. He went by Chaos. From 2002, and it stars Antonio Banderas, Lucy Liu, Greg Henry, Ray Park, Talisa Soto, Miguel Sandoval, and Terry Chen. In this film, Jonathan X, an FBI agent, realizes that he must join with his lifelong enemy, Agent Sever. That's not a lifelong enemy. A rogue DIA agent with whom he is in mortal combat in order to defeat a common enemy. That enemy has developed a micro device that can be injected into victims in order to kill them at will. Interesting. Uh, Not exactly the plot, but okay. But what did I think of Ballistic X vs. Sever? Okay, so this has quite a reputation to it. And also, I'm gonna maybe talk a little spoilers. I'm not 100% sure, so just in case, spoiler alert. Um, this is has a big reputation to it as the worst film of all time due to it being, I guess, the only movie on Rotten Tomatoes that has over 100 reviews that has a 0%. Is this the worst movie of all time? Fuck no. Is it a good movie? No, it's not a great movie or a good movie. I'd say it's half decent to watch, mostly due to the action scenes, because the action scenes are fucking awesome in this. But overall, without the action scenes, no, this is not a good movie. But it's not really the director's fault, and I'll get to that. But yeah, I think it's a decent enough time, but let me get to the cast. Antonio Banderas plays Agent Jeremiah X. He's a former FBI agent because his he thinks his wife died, uh, and everything, and he like kind of went into hiding or something. I love Antonio Banderas as an actor. I've loved him ever since seeing Mask of Zorro. I love him in Spy Kids, um, Spy Kids 2, Puss in Boots. Shrek 2. I love him as an actor. Here, I think this is one of his worst performances. And that is a big detractor to this film is Antonio Banderas' performance because holy shit does he seem sleepy in this. And I can see it kind of making sense once you find out what about stuff that went on behind the scenes, but also I think it's just a weird thing. Like his performance just does not exude badass. It exudes boozed up cop more so. And if he was supposed to be like a sleepy, boozed up cop, that would have been a good performance. But I think it's a bad choice of casting. But I'll get to it. Lucy Liu plays Agent Jane Sever. I completely forgot that they gave her a first name. Holy shit. She's kidnapped this guy's son. She's our villain's son. Um, and okay, I like Lucy Liu in action roles. I think she can be a badass. And I think during the action scenes, both her and Antonio Banderas exude badass. They do. And they're very, they're super fun action scenes. Acting wise in this, Lucy Liu is a blank slate. She has little to no character, and I think that's partially because they took out a bunch of the scenes of that. But I don't really think that's her fault. Greg Henry plays Robert Gant or Agent Clark. Um, he is a a former superior or former friend or just somebody from X's past, who's basically our villain. He's doing his job. He's being a shitty villain, like a shit-eating grin type of villain. it I just kind of wish there was more to the character because clearly there's more to this film. Uh, Ray Park plays Agent AJ Ross. He's fine. I wish he got more to do because he is a very talented martial artist, but he only gets the one fight with Sever. Talisa Soto plays Vin X or Rain Gant. Um, she is X's wife. She believes that X is dead. That's part of the spoiler. Um, uh, I didn't mind her here. I remember not liking her in License to Kill, but I didn't mind her here. Um, and Miguel Sandoval plays Julio Martin, FBI guy. He's not in the film a lot. I don't mind Miguel Sandoval as an actor. I like him on Medium. And Terry Chen plays Agent Harry Lee, who's kind of helps X at some points. His acting's whatever. He's okay. Here's the thing with this film. This film had a messy fucking production. And if you want to hear more about it, I suggest I'm gonna link a video in the description to this guy. His name is Suspect Suspect Green. He did a video 5 days ago about the film and about the studio meddling and everything. Um, I'll just say basically right off the bat, Antonio Banderas and Lucy Liu were not the original picks for this film. It was originally either the director wanted Jean Reno to play Sever and X to be played by Chow Yun Fat, which, to be honest, given the style of action this film goes for, I feel like that would have worked because you have the guy that played Leon in Leon the Professional, which is my favorite movie, and you have Chow Yun Fat from Hard Boiled, which is my favorite action film, which has this kind of style of action. I mean, in this film, you don't have people like diving and shit, but it's very over the top, very like heroic bloodshed type of action, full of explosions, destroying shit, destroying the fuck out of a bunch of cars, which I'll get to that. But I feel like that would have fit more than what the studio wanted, which was Sylvester Stallone and Vin Diesel. I love Sylvester Stallone. Vin Diesel, I couldn't give less of a shit about. Um, but apparently they took away Final Cut from Kaya Sayananda. I'll just say Chaos. They took Final Cut away from Chaos. That fucking sucks. I feel bad for this guy. And ever since then, he's been mostly doing direct-to-video work. And fuck those people. Also, I want to see Chaos's first film. Apparently, it's very like Michael Bay, John Woo style with its action. It's called FAH or FA. This film, I would be interested in seeing that because the action scenes in this film, which I want to talk about now, there is some fantastic action in this film. Some of it might be a little weirdly shot, but for the most part, the action is worth watching this film for alone. Because you have actors doing a lot of their own stunts, first off. You have Lucy Liu doing some really cool shit with oh, what was that one? There was that one thing. I can't remember what it was, but off the bat, but there's so many stunts that are just like mind blowing. There's a bit where a sniper, she like sets off a grenade to this top thing where one of the bad guy snipers is, and he like falls over, and you see this camera shot like of all the way down as he crashes onto a car. The wheel under the car flies out and knocks a guy unconscious. I was like, that's a fucking awesome stunt. Like this, that is one thing. If anybody says that the action in this film is poorly done, I have to disagree with you because the action here is, I mean, most people are watching action movies for the action. There's many people who will just like watch an action movie and they don't care what the plot is. If you're one of those people that just watches an action movie for the action or the spectacle of it, this is a film for you. If you don't give a fuck about the plot, which I do, go ahead. You'll have fun with this one. There's a bit later on where X is on a motorcycle and he's like going after Sever and a bunch of these cars fall over and he basically crashes the motorcycle, flips off of the motorcycle, lands on his feet, which is a stuntman, but still, this is like a world-class stunt, and the stuntman has talked about it like in interviews semi recently, I think. As these two cars fly overhead next to each other, spinning, and then crash, there's some fucking insane stunt work in this film. Like, I think like, the fact that the Oscars don't have a, like, best stunt category is insane. Like, I've heard people talk about that, and, like, the fact that they don't have that is insane. Or, like, a best action film, but it would probably go to whatever, like, Bourne ripoff or Bourne type of film comes out, or fuck, they'll 100% just give it to a Mission Impossible movie if it comes out that year. But oh yeah, there's a bit later on where Antonio Banderas like steps off of a mine and is running away from explosions, and there's a bit where he actually got some burns on his face, and you see it in the final film. It's an impressive fucking stunt, and Antonio Banderas and Lucy Liu, even if I can't say much about the performances, partially due to production, I can 100% say grade A work on the stunts, that a lot of them which they did themselves. That's insane. Like the stunt work and the action, I have nothing bad to say about it. Even the like hand-to-hand fights, there's a bit where she comes out with these two like batons and starts beating the shit out of these guys. Not fantastic choreography. There's some places where it's a bit wonky. For the most part, pretty well edited and shot and pretty fun. Her fight against Ray Park near the end is a lot of fun. I think where this film really struggles is its story. Now, the story that I feel was there, now knowing about the production issues, I feel like it could have been interesting, and it's mostly due to it getting fucked over in production and certain people not being able to do what they wanted to do, especially the director. There's even rumors that the budget was half of what it's reported to be. The reported budget is 70 million, and Chaos has been in an interview saying that it was 35, which that seems a bit more realistic. Even with all of the explosions, like I can understand that. They also filmed it in Canada to keep production costs low. Um, and I can see that. And if that is the budget, they put the budget into the action, which is pretty awesome. The film looks nice. I can say that. Sorry, I want to talk about what I liked first. The film looks really good. It's very well shot. There's some really nice cinematography. No real complaints on how the film looks. There's a lot of slow-mo, but whatever. I think it's used sparingly enough to the point where, or I don't think the slow-mo like annoyed me. It was usually used to enhance certain action scenes, and it did work for the most part, especially the stunt with the sniper falling onto the car. I think the way the slow-mo was used there is really cool. Some people might think it's too much. I enjoyed it. But the fucking yeah, the film looks nice. The score by Don Davis, I don't mind it. I think okay, from what I've heard, they wanted the film to have a more Matrix-like feel, so they hired Don Davis, who did the score for that film. The score does feel very derivative of that, and they are using a lot of early 2000s like drum and bass songs, kind of in the way that Lara Croft Tomb Raider did. Except in Lara Croft Tomb Raider, I think a lot of the songs fit a bit more. A lot of the songs here I don't think fit with a lot of the situations. Like when Sever is like abducting the kid, or to protect him though, Name of the Game starts playing, which is a song that's been in a ton of movies, including I think Blade or Blade 2 as well. A lot of, excuse me, a lot of movies from that time period use that song. Um, I forgot who wrote it, but it was probably Prodigy or something like that. But yeah, Name of the Game starts playing, which is weird. It kind of reminded me of The One with how its soundtrack used music. That is a movie I need to check out. I do have it. But yeah, the score is fine. It's works for the film for the most part, but it does at times feel a bit off. The story, from what I've heard, it has been heavily rewritten. A lot of the like pre-credit stuff. Apparently, pre-credits was supposed to be Sever um finding out her kid was dead, or us seeing her spending time with her kid before the kid died, and then seeing her making like the paper cranes that she makes, uh which should have could have been a cool motif, like making a crane having to do with dead family members. That could have been cool. But it just kind of feels like an afterthought in the final cut. And X focusing on like the death of his wife, which turns out to be she's not dead. Um, but like I think a lot of these things feel very like pushed to the back burner in this film, especially when most of it is like, oh yeah, your kid died. They just like say it in dialogue rather than showing it. It feels very hollow. And I can see what some of these scenes I can tell are supposed to be impactful. X meeting up with his wife for the first time after finding out that she's still fucking alive should have been an impactful moment. Them hugging for the first time in 7 fucking years, especially given that both of them think each other is dead. Like, and it's partially Antonio Banderas's like weird, like boozy performance, and Talisa Soto not being the greatest actress. Again, she's not bad in the film, but she is a bit you need good acting for scenes like these, but also you need the build up to it, and this film just doesn't have the build up. That's part of why I cannot say that this is like a super underrated film. I can say that I wish I could have seen what Chaos wanted to do, because the bones are here for the bones are here within the original script for a really cool action movie that also serves as like a cool character story for X and Sever. But there's barely any backstory for Sever, and X's backstory is very truncated to the point where it just feels like an afterthought. There's the bones there, but the meat isn't there. And there's also the kind of blah ending for the villain that's like I'm guessing supposed to be like a get a taste of your own medicine type of thing, that just kind of felt very lackluster. So I was very disappointed by that. But yeah, I would I ever watch this again? Probably not, but I would 100% look up the action scenes later on. Um Again, if you're like an action movie person who doesn't care about the plot, just wants to see cool action scenes, there's plenty in this film. Plenty of awesome stunts, plenty of huge fucking explosions. Like some of the biggest I've ever seen in a film. And I've seen a lot of films with insane explosions. That's where this movie put the money, and that's cool. And none of the film really feels cheap. So I can say the like bare minimum of like most films, like the production, the soundtrack, the action, and all that, yes, are very well done. But I think the fact that the story is not incomprehensible, but just like truncated to the point where I don't know what the fuck is going on in a lot of cases, and the things that I could know what's going on are taken out. It's, yeah, it's just half decent for me, for the action mostly. But yeah, that was my review of Ballistic Ecks vs. Sever. If you've seen the film, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations, put them down there as well. And movie reviewer next door.